The city of Dover, known for being the capital of the first state, home to a massive military installation, delightful delicacies, and one monster of a racetrack. Dover International Speedway, the Monster Mile, with massive high bank turns, narrow straightaways, and roller coaster transitions that make trouble easy to find. Today, it's the NASCAR Nationwide Series turn to try to master the monster. Kyle Busch can claim a record. Keselowski and Carl can keep him from it. Maybe there'll be another first-time winner, while a lady takes her first run at Dover. 200 laps to avoid the Monster Mash and master the Monster Mile. Will be the first to the finish in Dover. And ESPN welcomes you to NASCAR Countdown for race 28 of the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Set to go at the track with the coolest nickname in the sport, the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway in Dover, Delaware. The first Saturday of fall here feels a lot like a continuation of summer. Temperature a steamy 91 degrees. Add that to the degree of difficulty that this tough track already brings, and these drivers have a hard day's work ahead for sure. Qualifying for this race was held 4.5 hours ago. Surprise! The Joe Gibbs racing car swept the front row. Well, not much of a surprise, actually. It was Joey Logano edging his teammate Kyle Busch by 25 one-thousandths of a second for the top spot. Logano's fifth pole of the year, tied for most in the series. Here is a look at the first 5 rows of the grid. Behind Logano and Kyle Busch are Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski. Brad, the championship leader. There are a few more Cup guys in that top 10, Menard and Harvick, plus a few young guys like Allgaier, Bain, and Wallace. Let's start our pit road coverage by hearing from the pole sitter, Joey Logano's with Jamie Little.
And this is his second pole here at Dover, but you haven't gotten the W yet, Joey. What has been the biggest obstacle in getting that win here?
There's a lot of obstacles at this place, to say the least, but a lot of different things. I feel like I got a really good GameStop Toyota, so everything has to go your way to win one of these things. So I feel like we're at a good start position, got a good pit stall. You know, it's one of those places seem like there's a lot of wrecks on pit road, so hopefully we can stay out of those being down there. So hopefully that's good, but we'll see. You know, a lot of rubber just got laid down after Cup practice here, so I think the car's going to be a lot different than what we think, but we got a good start position. Hopefully get some clean air, get out front, and hopefully pull away, see what our car is doing, and make it good for the end. I think that's the biggest thing is how people adjust on their cars throughout the race. So I got a good one to start. Hopefully I got a good one to end.
All right, Joe Gibbs Racing has won 4 of the last 6. Joey hopes to add his name to that list. Let's go over to Doc Punch.
Thank you, Jamie. Carl Edwards comes here second in points, 8 races ago, Carl, but you come to Dover with a brand new, albeit experienced crew chief in Mike Beam. How much of an adjustment is that for you?
It's not much of an adjustment. I mean, he's been doing this about as long as I've been alive, so just trying to learn from him a little bit. He's been working very closely with our Copart Fastenal team the whole season. So, you know, for us to be able to make this big move and have, you know, Drew go over there to the 6 and work with Donnie Wingo and David Reagan and Mike to come over here and have that much depth says a lot about our team. I'm pretty excited about today. We got a fast car.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Alan?
Doc, thanks. This Dover facility originally began as a horse racing track. The stock car oval was built around the trotter track that was originally here. Now, we can't tell you much about horse racing, but we can tell you a lot about horsepower inside our ESPN pit studio. Alan Bestwick here with 3-time Dover winner Rusty Wallace and NASCAR team owner Big Brad Daugherty. The Monster Mile. What makes this track so difficult and what makes it so unique?
It's very high banked and it's solid concrete and it's very hard to drive. There is no doubt about that. It's a real tough racetrack. You go down the front straightaway, folks, and when you drive off into turn 1, you feel like you're flying off a 2-story building. The car crash lands in the corner of turn 1 and this thing happens again in turn 3. A real fast track, a real mean racetrack, and different than any place these guys race. Nothing familiar about this place at all.
You know, Rusty and Alan, I was talking to Elliott Sadler, who starts 16th today in the number 88 car, and he was telling me the sensations at this racetrack are unparalleled. Just like Rusty's talking about going off into turn 1, and he says the car literally feels like it's trying to separate the body from the chassis when it falls into that corner. And you really have to focus, and you have to see how long on a qualifying lap you can hold your breath.
The dive downhill into the corner and the climb uphill out of the corner is what makes this track unique. Because of that unique shape, 2 things to focus on here: crashes off the corners and right front tires.
Yeah, right front tires are in every driver's mind. Brendan Gaughan was telling me earlier, and I was talking to him, that you really are focused on that right front tire, simply because a right front tire failure at this racetrack means a super hard lick. There's no way to hit softly here, so you really want to take care of your air pressures and your camber and your race tires and make sure that hot rod's not pushing.
And trouble coming up off the corners. We'll see it a lot.
Oh, on the exit of corners, you come off these corners and all of a sudden it flattens out and you spin out. Take a look there. Brad Keselowski, a veteran. Folks, usually you hit that inside wall. He missed that time, but most of the time they're going to happen. He'll hit that wall. And you spin off of turn 2 and you spin off of turn 4. We'll see it throughout the day.
That's pretty lucky not to hit either wall when you spin off of one of these corners. Now, there are the two Joe Gibbs Racing drivers. Kyle Busch, orange and blue suit. Joey Logano there right of the screen. Joe Gibbs Racing has led 77% of all the laps at this track in the past 6 Nationwide Series races here. This a two-car race, or can they be challenged?
I don't think it's a two-car race. I do think you have to go through these guys in order to get to victory lane, but I think anyone in that top 10 is very capable of running these cats down.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anybody in that top 10 can sure win this race. I mean, those guys are fast. We all know that. Week in and week out, they qualify well. But, hey, these guys are fast this weekend, especially that top 10. Like you said, Brad, I watch these guys in practice. They're looking good.
All right, now among the 43 drivers in the field will be one Danica Patrick, back for her 7th try in this series. She got a little Monster Mile experience yesterday in NASCAR's K&N Pro East Series race. Traded a little paint, got a few stock car lessons in on the Monster Mile.
Rubbin's racing, baby. Danica goes down off the corner and it gets a little loose. She learned a very valuable lesson about how to side draft, and side draft coming off the corners, and how that car gets sucked around. So she did a good job yesterday.
Wound up with a 6th place finish in that race. If you look at the track Patrick's been on in a stock car, no two are exactly alike. Even the pair of 2-mile tracks she ran, those races were run in 2 different style cars. Today it's a mile track with huge banking and a 42nd place starting spot, Vince Welch.
Certainly has been a huge mountain to climb for Danica through these first 6 races, 7 today. What have you taken from this NASCAR experience so far that you can build upon here today?
What have I taken? First thing I think is when you say that is that it's hard, and that I can build on is just that I have more miles. You know, there was I think that everything was going pretty well this weekend. We ended the final practice 12th, and I thought, oh, this is, you know, wow, I've come to a track that everybody thought would be my hardest to, and feel like maybe I'm my most confident. And then I got there in qualifying, and I just, it showed how hard it is. So, you know, the important thing is to keep the GoDaddy car in the race, keep it going. I mean, I just said to one of my guys that it might be a little banged up, but and he interrupted me and said, "Don't worry about it. It's the last race for this car." So hopefully we get that chance, and hopefully we get the chance to move our way up and you know, make some positives of the day.
Danica Patrick, she'll start at the back and hopefully work her way toward the front here today, Alan.
Vince, thanks. You heard Danica say, everybody was saying this is going to be your toughest race yet. We all thought that coming in, right? Why?
Yeah, it is tough. It will be her toughest race, in my opinion, just because the banks are so high, the track is so fast. The track is very, very narrow on the exit of turn 1, on the exit of turn 4 also. We showed earlier in our piece about how you spin off those corners. Danica's going to have to be very careful there, Brad, because it is a mean racetrack. That's the reason they call this thing the Monster Mile.
That's exactly right. And I spoke to Danica earlier and talked to her, and she was talking about how narrow the straightaways are at this racetrack as well. They're self-cleaning. And she just said, you know, the familiarity of this race car going from practice to qualifying to race, there seems to be 3 different stages you have to go through, and she's just not quite gotten a hold of it. But hey, I admire her. She's here digging as hard as she possibly can. She just needs more seat time.
We talked about the track and how different it is from others, and the big drop into the corners versus the drive up into the banking of the turns. It takes a lot to get a car to handle well here. Tim Brewer, our Craftsman Tech Garage, says we might be shocked at what teams will do to go fast. Huh, Tim?
Thanks, Alan. The 4 shock absorbers on the race cars, that's what you have to tune with to get the tires to stay on the racetrack, because this tire is literally bouncing all through the corner. When you go off in turn 1, you got to have a lot of compression, a lot of resistance to get the car down in the corner comfortably. But when you get to the center of the corner, you want this tire to run as smooth as silk. So what you have to do, you have to work with the pistons, the components inside the shock absorber. See these small holes here? We can open them up to this area right here. But what we have to do is work with the oil, the gas pressure, and the key to getting around Dover, Delaware is making sure that this tire stays on the racetrack 100% of the time to give you an opportunity to win the race. Alan?
Tim, thank you. Keep it flat on the track. A shocking development from our Craftsman
Sounds like
Tech
a plan
Garage.
to me.
Nobody would be shocked if this man, Kyle Busch, won the race today. The first of this year's 2 Dover races was back on May 15th, and it was all Kyle Busch. He started on the pole at 191 of the 205 laps. He did need to scramble a bit at the end to hold off Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray over a green-white checker finish. And Kyle's still looking to break that most wins in a season record he shares with Sam Ard. Starts second for this one today, Doc.
And he's down here signing autographs for a lot of fans around his NOS Energies Toyota. And Kyle, you always take a technical approach to racetracks, but how much technique is there involved to running the Monster Mile?
There's a lot involved, you know, with the way everything has happened today, with the way the rubber's gone